Hello, everybody. Mike Molina here. Well, today I want to take a few minutes to go over the impact of the One Big Beautiful Bill that was recently passed by Congress and signed by the President on July 4th. There's a lot of things in there that will impact homeowners and potential homeowners, and I think as real estate professionals, it's important that we know what these things are. So I'm going to take a quick run through of some of the key points, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me anytime. Okay, so first up, we have credits going away for clean energy. I'm going to assume that nobody knows anybody that's going to install a windmill on their home, so we're just going to talk about solar panels and automobiles. So right now, there exists a 30% credit for solar panels installed on homes. That credit will be going away by September 30th, 2025, this year, so what, 3 months or so, right? Then next year, the credit drops to 18%. 2027, it drops to 6%, and the beginning 2028, the credit is eliminated entirely. So be aware of that. Now, there's phasing out of tax credits for electric vehicles. Now, I realize that electric vehicles don't necessarily have a lot to do with home ownership, but it does affect people's overall economic profile, so I did want to bring it up. Right now, people that purchase an electronic vehicle get a $7,500 tax credit. That is now gone effective September 30th, 2025. But I do think it's worth noting that there are some new credits for automobile purchases, and I wanted to highlight those because, as I said, while buying a car isn't necessarily tied to owning or buying a home, it does affect somebody's overall financial profile, so I think it's worth discussing. So there's a tax deduction for interest. It allows taxpayers to deduct up to $10,000 annually on interest paid on their qualifying auto loans. To qualify, they have to buy a car that is assembled in the United States. There's also income limitations. So the deduction starts to phase out for those that have a modified adjusted gross income of $100,000 or more for individuals, or $200,000 for married couples. Now, the deduction is temporary. It is only good between now and the end of 2028, but that is significant. We've never seen that before, so I did want to point that out. So we lose on the EVs. I was going to go buy myself an EV this year, so I better hurry up and do it because I've only got till the end of September. But after that, you do get credit for interest paid on any car that you buy where the car is made in the United States. As I said, the temporary benefit expires at the end of 2028. They don't need to itemize. It's not for used cars, and it's not for leases. So please be aware of that. All right. Now, there's a whole lot of news in regards to what you can deduct for mortgage, because up until 2021, you could deduct mortgage insurance, and that went away. And big news that I'm super excited about is that has been brought back in this bill. So there was a bill proposed by Congress in February of 2025 called the Mortgage Insurance Deduction Act. That was actually rolled into the One Big Beautiful Bill, and here's what it does. So it permanently reinstates the deductibility of mortgage insurance premiums, no expiration date. That applies to conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. This is estimated to save millions of middle-class Americans around $1,400 to $1,500 per year on taxes. So that is a pretty huge thing. They can deduct 100% of the mortgage insurance if their adjusted gross income is $100,000 or less. Then for every $1,000 above $100,000 it goes, the deduction decreases by 10%. After $109,000, you don't get any more deduction. So, which, I mean, if you have mortgage insurance, more than likely you're making $100,000 on adjusted gross income. I mean, there's lots of people out there that make way more than that, but after they do all their write-offs, they're making less than $100,000. So this is going to apply to a whole lot of people, and that is huge. So as I said, the deduction reduces by 10% for every $1,000 above $100,000, and yeah, if you're a married couple, the deduction is split. It's 50-50 or $54,500, depending. Did you know that all the slides I use in my videos are available for download? Also, I have in the email and in the links in the description, you can download our summer buyer's guide, our summer seller's guide, and our monthly market housing report. That's all available both in the email that I sent you, if you've received this via email, or as links in the description if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble. So please avail yourself of those. They're full of great charts and graphs and pictures and lots of visual aids. You can use them as pieces in your marketing, in your presentations with your buyers and sellers. They're a great help and marketing tools. So please avail yourself of those resources, and please call me if you have any questions. I can also brand them with your own information if you want, so just let me know. I'm happy to do that. Okay, SALT deduction. You may have heard about this. This was a big fight, but if you live in a state that has income taxes or property taxes, as most states do, then this will apply, and it's kind of huge. So the $10,000 cap was increased to $40,000 for tax years 2025 through 2029. For those married filing separately, the cap is increased to $20,000. So in other words, it's $40,000 per household. All right. So SALT stands for state and local state and local taxes. So you can deduct your state and local income taxes, okay, or your state and local sales taxes. You can deduct one or the other, but you cannot deduct both. Your state and local income taxes or your state and local sales taxes, one or the other, but not both. And you can deduct your local property taxes. All of that up to $40,000. That's pretty huge, especially, you know, when you live in California or New York or some of these other places with high income taxes and property taxes. This is a huge win. There is a income-based phase out. So what happens if your income is equal or less than $500,000. Now, this is the modified adjusted gross income. So it's not just what you get on your W-2 or if you're self-employed, what you take in. This is your based off of your adjusted gross income. Then you can deduct the full $40,000. So if you pay $30,000 in property taxes, you can deduct $30,000. That's amazing. From $500,001 up to $600,000, okay, it reduces by 30%. So another way of saying that is you can deduct 70%. I don't know why they have to make it complicated, but that's how they write it. Okay, and if you make more than $600,000, the deduction is capped at just $10,000. So it doesn't matter how much you pay. If you make more than $600,000 adjusted gross income, you can deduct $10,000, and that's all you can deduct. Okay, credits for various home improvements. So you can deduct things, and as most of this has been around for a while, there is some modifications, but most of this is old news. But just in case people don't know, I think it's important in your conversations as you're speaking with your clients that this is good information to have. So capital improvements that increase value, extend the useful life, or adapt it to new uses can be deducted. Rental property, expenses for repairs, maintenance, and equipment. So if you're a landlord or you're going to be a landlord and you're buying equipment, stuff to maintain the property, even the equipment is tax deductible. A deduction of losses from a natural disaster. So if the house burns down or it's flooded or whatever, you can deduct losses for that. Home office deduction. A lot of people don't know this. People that work from home, even if you're W-2'd, okay, you don't have to be self-employed for this. I do this every year on my taxes, and I'm W-2'd. The part of your home that you set aside for home office work, you can deduct a proportion of the square footage that you use, the proportion of the utilities that you use. All of that is tax deductible. And improvements made specifically to accommodate a medical need. Some other things that came out that I think are important, they're not necessarily going to affect your run-of-the-mill day-to-day buyer, but some of you are dealing with some very affluent clients and investor clients, so I think this is relevant. Increase allocations to reduce the bond financing requirement. Basically, what it means, it will help increase the supply of affordable rental housing and may indirectly affect home ownership by easing entry-level competition. And for real estate investors and landlords, permanent 20% deduction of qualified business income. It makes the 20% deduction permanent, so no expiration date. That's important. The business interest deduction is preserved. And then Section 1031 tax exchanges, that preserves that as well. So that's it for me today. Thank you for watching. Remember, download the buyer's guide, the seller's guide, and the monthly market report. And if you could please, especially if you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble or anywhere else where you can like it and share it and even subscribe to the channel, would be a great help. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk with you soon. Take care.